Hello, my name is Ron Keel. I'm one of the software developers here on the RanoreX team. During this short tutorial, I want to talk to you about the RanoreXPath, what it is, how it works, so that you can better utilize it in your automation programming with RanoreX. So the RanoreXPath is based on an XPath expression, and it becomes the identifier for the UI element at runtime, so that RunnerX can find and locate that object for you and return it as an object of that type. For example, if you had a path for the form, then it would return that form as a form object, giving you the ability to do common related actions on a form, and of course read and write to some of the commonly related properties that are available on that object. It would be the same thing for a text box or a button or whatever. So let's take a look at how we can use the path and how we can understand it. Let's break down the different elements of the path and its components so that you can understand it. So when we look at a form object, for example, then we notice that we qualify, or we find the element by its type, and then we qualify it on one of its attributes. So that's how all elements are found, regardless of their type. It's always by the type of the element, and then it's qualified on one of their attributes. I can use almost any of the attributes on that type as a qualifier. RanoreX will by default try to choose the best path based on its uniqueness for you. There may be times when you need to adjust this, and we'll get into that in more future demos, in a more, I should say, more detail in future demos, so that you can better understand how to do some of the more advanced things with the path. But today I just want to demonstrate and break down the basic elements of it, so that when you view it, you'll understand what you're looking at. So in this case, I'm looking at the form, and now I'm looking at a form more specifically that's qualified on its title in this case. And then when I look at one of its child elements, like the text, now I'm looking at a form that's qualified on its title, and then it's separated by a child separator, looking at the in the children, or in that direct descendant, I should say, direct child, for the text. And then if I, with a control ID equaling 15, then if I look at the menu bar, we go even deeper from there, when we drop down to one of its child elements. So we have the form, the menu bar, it's qualified, and then a menu item. And that's pretty much holds true for all, not pretty much, it holds true for all parent-child relationships, regardless of the element type. So basically, to make that clear, your desktop is made up of a hierarchical object model, meaning that there's always a parent-child relationship from one element to the next. And because of that, we're able to use a structure like the RanoreXPath to navigate to and find the element, much the way you would when you're navigating to a file on your file system, or using a URL to navigate to a web page. There's always a parent-child relationship there. And then again, here we're looking at the rows and the cells and so on and so forth. Always qualifying on the one of the attributes in order to make it unique. So one of the more interesting things that we might want to look at here is how we can qualify on more than one attribute in the same UI element. This can be quite useful for creating unique identifiers for a form, for example, where there was two forms on the desktop with the same control name. For example, if I started another form of this exact same application, then there would exist two forms with the same control name. So in order to do that, probably the easiest way is just to actually open another form of that type. So So now we have two forms. If we do a refresh here, we will see there's two forms. And we'll notice now that RanoreX goes away and creates a unique ID for both of those elements using AND operators, showing us how we can use more than one attribute. And in this case, it's really fully qualified. It basically went away and tried to make sure in every way possible that it could qualify this form uniquely, and went through and added all the possible attributes that had values in order to help ensure uniqueness. At the end, the only difference actually between these two elements is in fact the instance. So in this case, if I delete here, we'll notice that we have basically the same thing. We have instance 0, and now we have instance 1. If I remove this instance variable, then I retrieve both forms. And so therefore, by using the instance in this case, I can uniquely separate them. So even when there's absolutely no way to separate the two items, then you can always still manage to use the instance, even if they're identical in every other way. Well, I think that's about as far as we can go in this basic path explanation. We will get into more detail in future presentations and really explain how you can do some more powerful things. Really having a deep understanding of the RanoreX path, I guarantee you, will be the key to your success, and of course impressing your boss with your ability to automate even very complex dynamic user interfaces. Hope to see you soon. Thank you.